Hello, I'm Pam.
I'm Jay.
And today we have a guest.
Hi, I'm Silas.
And we're here today to talk to you about, because March is reading month, some books that have been challenged or banned. We previously talked about They Both
Die at the End.
And then we said we would come back to read the sequel or the
Prequel.
The prequel, the first to die at the end. And Silas tells us that they love these books. Why don't you tell us about your journey with these books?
I read the first one, the first one. I read it, I think, freshman year, and was a super big fan of it. I fell in love with it, and then Miss Julia told me that the first to die at the end came along, and I was like, I have to read this, and I read it, and it was awesome.
It is better. I think it plugs a lot of holes.
Yeah. It goes further into the universe, especially of Deathcast and how everyone reacts to it. Because in They Both Die at the End, it's become an integral part of their society, and everyone is more natural. They're more they've developed around it.
Connected.
Yes. Like they have services for people.
Right, but let's talk about what is this book. So this book is about one day, right? I mean, this book is about one day and
yes,
what
and so is
happens in
this
a
one,
day.
right?
So is this
They're
one.
each
But what
set
happens
in a day.
And what would you do if today was your last day?
Yep.
How would you live that last day? And so we think about, we would do this, we would do that. But to think about your last day, or other people are part of your last day.
And I think we were talking about, before we started this talk, like, what genre do you think this is? And obviously it's fiction, it's YA, but...
Didn't we say magical realism?
Probably magical realism.
Yeah.
We're trying to decide, is it
Yeah,
magical realism or is it more like science fiction? Because most of it is very realistic. But this one piece.
Yes. I would say magical realism because this one, it takes place in New York. It takes place like on our Earth, in our reality, with the one difference that Deathcast is there.
Yeah.
And that difference makes it so that people can plan for their ending if you need someone to take care of your dog or you need to.
But also, I like the realities that it shows us because every person that we meet also has a story.
Yes.
And so whether it's the waitress at your restaurant or the Uber driver, they have a story. And how does their story connect with us, you? So I like the wovenness of it.
Yes, and the author, who is a late millennial, early Gen Z, I listened to an interview with the author, and they talked about how they personally lost people in 9/11. They then lost someone in a plane crash, and how they became very fearful, and that how Gen Z, this is part of why there's so much anxiety, because you've had the shadow of 9/11, you've had a war for the entire length of your life in Afghanistan, and then you had a pandemic. So anxiety is sort of the water you swim in, and I feel like this really addresses that. Do you feel like that? Does that feel that way to you?
Yeah, I think so. It really does, because it's like, it's a very set in stone. This is happening and there's nothing you can do to stop it. You just have to live with it.
Yeah.
That's like the energy
So how do you get through it?
Yeah.
So what's your approach, right? And so, I mean, that was the part that
That's the part, right? Like, how are you going to, and in this one, don't want to give any spoilers, but it has a really powerful ending of like self-sacrifice and love and giving a gift that you can only give through something like that.
Yeah.
That's very
powerful. But I
powerful.
like the love is love is love.
Yes.
That was the part that
Yes, yes. So, in conclusion, for March's reading month, we have these wonderful challenge books that we think are amazing.
And you should totally read them.
You should totally read them and tell us what you think. The Both Die at the End and the First to Die at the End.